Hello, I'm Thomas Crawford, founder of Darkstream Music Management. Today, I wanted to share some key characteristics for writing hit songs and successful songs. Uh, now, art or music is very subjective. Everyone has their own tastes and styles and directions that they want to go with their music. These characteristics are not meant to demean or demoralize that, just more of some key components that are found in a lot of hit songs that we see today and have seen over the years. Um, I personally did not come up with every single one of these. This came with my own research, my 30 plus years of being a musician, as well as talking with some of producers that I've worked with in the past, people like Seven Dunbar and Logan Mader. These are, kind of the core things that I've noticed that contribute to writing hit songs. Again, don't let this be the hard and fast rule. These are just some nice suggestions and characteristics that help you move forward if you're wanting to, take your music and do those types of things to really write in a good formula. Um, Number one, starting off with immediate engagement. You want to minimize long intros. Being a musician, I love the whole side of the music and stuff like that, and setting the mood. But most of the time, getting right to the message immediately. Don't letting the intro be too long. Having the vocals come in pretty early. This helps set a clear and rhythmic and melodic identity right from the start. The next one is keeping it short. So I have written songs that are 10 minutes long. I've written some that are 2 minutes long. But the key thing here with all of it is I always set a target length of about 3 minutes and 30 seconds. Whenever I'm doing that, I, not to say that necessarily I have to cut it to be exactly that time, but having that as a barometer helps me analyze each of the different parts within the different songs that I'm working on. Do we need to have a 16 measure bridge? Do we need to have, 5 to 6 measure, intro part of that? Like, can you still get the same feeling and same purpose of the song? Um, by kind of eliminating some of the waste. Sometimes the answer is no, and that's totally fine. But targeting that 3 minutes and 30 seconds, helps maximize the completion rates with streaming. Especially in today's streaming age, the revenue comes in for completed streams of those songs, and if you have a 10-minute song, maybe people will pass through it. Uh, the next one is a strong hook or a chorus. Whenever I'm writing a song, this is where I usually start. I will usually come up with some type of riff or melody, and that be the big thing that I want to get people um, brought into the song, making it really simple. Um, you know, Kind of a little bit of repetition, and also something that works outside of the song. Like whenever you hear the song and then you go to tell somebody about it, you want it to be very memorable, to really call out like, "Hey, I saw this kick-ass song. It went like this." Which kind of leads to the next one: having the song name in your lyrics, predominantly in your chorus or your hook. Some examples. So, like, I honestly had not thought about this, and my friend Seven was sharing this with some of the stuff that we were doing when writing music for Seven Factor. He brought up like, "Hey, I'm making sure that the song title is in the lyrics predominantly in the chorus." I was like, "Oh, that's interesting," and I went and just by chance I pulled up one of my playlists. So like, here's a playlist that I have of songs that I use for practicing for karaoke, and look at this. So my name is Human. I still believe. Separate ways. It was always you. Centuries. Stripped. Like, these song titles are in the choruses. So a good example there. Next, make it relatable. So you want to create a connection with the listener. When it comes to live performances or the music, the whole aspect is you're wanting people to really identify with what you're trying to impart. Use things like I and we. Focus on shared experiences, things like love, loss, ambition, escape. Things of that nature. Um, Something that makes the feel like the song is about the listener and they can relate to it. Uh, Next one, familiar structure. So, uh, the for decades there is kind of a standard pattern. Yes, you can totally structure your song how you want, but again, getting it to that relatable and familiarity. Generally you want to go with a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus type of structure. Again, like this helps make it easier for the listener to engage with it and kind of be prepared, having those clear contrasts between those sections. So when I went into the studio with my previous band Fleischkrieg, we went in with Logan Mater, and the first thing he did was he would take out the song and he would ask us, "Where's the chorus?" And if we couldn't answer, it was kind of like, oh. So this is one of those things that whenever I'm writing music and I'm coming up with the parts, I immediately, after putting up the parts together, I will go and put a marker in my session that says, this is the intro, this is the verse, this is the chorus, the pre chorus, and help make it easier for me to identify those parts. And also from a composition standpoint, if I need to reduce some things, or if I need to switch some parts and so on. And then the last thing, uh, I'm a big fan of explicit language. However, having explicit language in there can cause some roadblocks. It is harder to get on curated playlists from streaming platforms and, you know, YouTube and stuff like that if your content has explicit uh, aspects to it, whether it be curse words or the actual subject. Now, we all know there are some very famous hit songs that are very explicit, um, but as an independent artist, it could make it a lot more difficult to reach those audiences. Another thing, so like with particularly in YouTube, if you have explicit content, not only with the message but also the video itself, you have to age restrict it. And in turn, it doesn't do the autoplay. People have to directly go and say, "Yes, I want to watch this." So it can make it harder for discoverability if you have explicit content. So just to kind of summarize it, the the main characteristics: have immediate engagement, get to the point immediately, keep it short, make sure you have a strong hook or a chorus, have the name of the song in your lyrics, particularly in the chorus. Make it relatable, make it have a familiar structure, and minimize the explicit subject. Um, if you like what you heard, like, comment, subscribe to this channel. Also, you can join the From Amateur to Pro Music School community, uh, or you can visit our website at www.darkstreammusicmanagement.com or send me an email at info@darkstreammusicmanagement.com. Thank you very much.